Okay, this is part two of What If Kuwabara trained with Master Roshi. Okay, so his training would make him okay. So after the Saint Beast arc, he trained for a little while till he hadn't stopped training after the Saint Beast arc. He kept on training because he knew that there's stronger demons and people out there that he needs to get stronger so he could protect people and fight thwart these evil foes that he has to face. And so 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 he does. And he, for a little while, for a couple of weeks, and he got a little stronger than he was in the Saint Beast arc. In this timeline, in this what if, and just remember, guys, that this Kuwabara is much stronger than he was in the original canon. So yes, he'd be much stronger, and he had more skills. He has more fighting techniques, and his technique is better because he has martial arts. He knows for Master Roshi's martial arts. Yeah, because Master Roshi trained him in the ways of fighting. So, so let's continue. Kuwabara, after training with Master Roshi for a little while, after that day, he could sense an evil presence. He could feel a demonic presence coming for him. Demonic presence. A demonic presence that or coming after him. No, not coming. Coming this way, and he hears a, and he could see a destroyed building, unchecked building that was supposed to be fixed. So he goes up to him. He goes up to the building, and he can sense he's like that evil aura is in that building. And he goes and he checks it out, and he sees Toguro and Yusuke, and he says that he knew that deep down inside he knew that Toguro didn't die. He knew, but because he's much smarter, and okay, and he has studied. He has studied too. He actually studied in high school. He studied while he was training, so he actually his grades are good too. So he's getting back in order with himself, and he's doing really good with him, good in his life, and he's getting in shape. He's getting smarter. He's just doing all these things he's just trying to get his grades up so he can get a good education, so a good diploma. So Kuwabara actually, after he senses and he sees Toguro, he actually charges Toguro and attacks him and kicks him in the face. It does nothing to him. Toguro, even though well, it made a little scratch, but not like too much, like a little bump. But no, it's not that bad. It's like it didn't affect him. It's like it didn't even like severely hurt him. So yeah, he actually is scared shitless, and he's scared. Like he's like, oh my god, this guy is so strong. How did we defeat him the first time? And Toguro tells him that he was actually holding back when we first fought in the dungeon. And Toguro is Kuwabara is just livid. He's like, "What? You were holding back?" Yeah. So, sorry about that. So they're like, so Kuwabara's looking at him like, so what is he if he goes full power? And Toguro says that you will, if I went full power, you'll be dead by then. You'll be dead by now, by then, by that time, if I went full powered. And he did. Well, he didn't, but this is just 40% of my power. Actually, 10% of my power. Or no. Sorry, 60% of my power. Toguro, Yusuke, and Kuwabara like shitting themselves. They are crazy, and it drives them nuts. They're like, this guy is that strong? Oh my god. He is that strong, and he's like stronger than we are. Or we are now. And Yusuke is like, no shit. Sorry. He's like, no shit. And so they're like, Toguro says his same old shtick that you guys gotta get trained for the dark tournament. He says that to Yusuke, and he says, and he looks at Kuwabara and says, you too. And Kuwabara is like, because Kuwabara, I mean not Kuwabara, but Toguro is not the only one targeting somebody. It's not targeting just Yusuke now, because he's interested not just on Yusuke but Kuwabara as well, because he can see how strong he's getting, and if he just keeps on training, he will get a lot stronger. And Master Roshi ain't getting stronger. Well, he's not getting stronger like he used to be. He's not getting. He's not gonna help him on this little journey. On this journey for a while. So Kuwabara actually goes back to the island where he meets Master Roshi, and asks Master Roshi if he can train him one more time. Train him for the dark tournament. Master Roshi says that he's getting too old, and your power is way stronger than his. Way stronger now. He is actually 10 or 15 times stronger than Master Roshi. Yes, Kuwabara's spiritual power is 10 times stronger than Master Roshi's. Than his ki. Because Kuwabara has hidden potential that he wanted to unlock. So, he says, please, can you train me? Master Roshi says, I don't think I could train you, but I know someone who can. And he takes Kuwabara and asks if, whatever that orb chick is, not Kingama, but whatever that orb girl is with the old lady with the orb. Which lady with the orb? And he says that, or no, he talks to not Beerus, but to Whis, and tells him that can he go to his world, and can we go to his world for a year or two? And Whis is like, okay, But I was like, and he says, what for? And he says, well, there's this dark tournament that he's talking about, and this guy, he said that there's a strong guy named Toguro and his brother Elder Toguro and Toguro are really strong, and he wants to get strong so he can get ready for them. And so Whis actually goes to and takes Master Roshi and Whis, no, not Whis, Kuwabara up to Beerus's planet, and he says that, okay, where you want else you want to go, and he asks if he can ask Goku if he can train Kuwabara, because Goku in this timeline is really strong. He has God Ki. So Toguro, no, not Toguro, but sorry, Kuwabara meets Goku, and Goku is looked at Kuwabara and says, I don't sense any ki on him. I don't sense any ki on him. And it's like, it's funny, he says, and Kuwabara's like, oh, I don't have ki. I have spiritual energy. You know, my world is different than yours. I have spiritual energy, not ki. And Kuwabara's like, and Kuwabara explains about spiritual energy, and explains that Genkai talks to him of the story about how he unleashed his spirit sword and how his spiritual awareness awakened, and tells him the story about it. And Goku is like fucking amazed. He's like, wow, you have spiritual energy? He's like, is your spiritual energy really strong? And he says, yeah, I need to train so I can fight this guy named Toguro and Elder Toguro. And he says, there's two Toguros? And then Vegeta comes in and says, Kakarot, what are you doing? And he says, oh, Vegeta, this is my new friend, Kuwabara. And they go up to him and says, and he looks at Kuwabara and he says, hello, my name's Kuwabara. My name is Kazuma, or they call me Kuwabara in my world. And he said, and Kuwabara, and Vegeta's like, I don't sense any ki on this kid. And he says, does he like have God ki or something? And he says, no, I have spiritual energy. I have spirit power. It's like ki, but it's not like ki. My world is different than yours, but I'm really strong. But Kuwabara says, well, I need a couple years, and it'll take me a year and I need to get like a lot stronger than Toguro. A lot more stronger, enough so I could defeat him. And Kuwabara, Kuwabara looks at himself and he says, I feel so weak. Toguro was holding back his power. He is much stronger than I am. And he was only 60% of his power. And he tells him about Toguro and about him holding back. And then he turned 60% of his power and unleashed it. And then he fucking destroyed us. Destroyed Urameshi with ease. He destroyed a building and it collapsed on him. And he tells him, and he says, Kuwabara and Vegeta and Vegeta and Goku are looking at him like, wow, this guy was holding back? He must be really strong. You have to get really strong, man. And Goku looks and Kuwabara's like, then help me get stronger. where is a place where I can get enough time to go and train? And Goku says, "Oh, we'll take you to the time chamber." The time what? The hyperbolic time chamber. Vegeta, let's go. Let's train him. Let's go. Let's go back to Earth. And he's like, Kakarot. We can't take him to the hyperbolic time chamber. We don't know what will happen to him. What if he can't handle the time chamber like we can? Oh, come on. It's the only way he can get stronger. And it's the only way we can get him stronger. There's not much time. The whatever he says, and yes, Kuwabara told him about the dark tournament too. And he said, well, this dark tournament he has to go to, Vegeta, it has to be really strong. And he says, yeah, there's a lot of monsters, he's a lot of, like, strong demons, hybrids, and people and he says that their spiritual power is probably 10 times stronger than I am. And they had strong training and mortality. This guy, he used to be human. And Whis actually knows the history of the girl because he can see all of it. He can see even all in the other universe now. And he says that this guy Toguro used to be human, but now he's a demon. He's a monstrous demon with he's an evil intent on destroying the world. So Toguro, and so he was a strong warrior, and he wants to go after Yusuke, but I have to stop him. So they do, and Goku looks at, and he says, "Don't explain anymore. Don't explain. You don't have to explain anything. We'll train you and make you really strong." So they take him to the hyperbolic time chamber. Kuwabara hasn't gotten used to it yet, just like Trunks in the timeline. But he gets used to it, and once he starts training and going full power and the spiritual power, he actually is training really, really, really good, and he's actually getting stronger. Even he's actually sparring, and Goku's can't fly. Goku tells come on, and they go into the hyperbolic time chamber. They tell it, and they go in, and accidentally Goku starts flying. Oops. And he's looking up and saying, "You can fly?" And he says, "Yeah, I can fly. Can you?" He's like, "No." He's like, "You want me to teach you how to fly?" And he says, You could teach me how to fly?" He's like, "Yeah, no problem, man. I'm Goku." He's like, "I'm Goku. I could do it. I could teach you how to fly." And after a couple months, Kuwabara actually learns how to fly. He actually learns how to fly. Because he knows that his spiritual energy, he has to concentrate his spiritual energy to focus it under his feet. And he actually learns a way. And it's not like Goku flying. He has to actually fly. I mean, his spiritual energy, he has to glow and fly. So this is like a flying glow action. It's okay, but it's not that powerful. But he has to learn how to observe and concentrate his energy, and like save some of his energy too. So he starts training, and he says, so, but he's like, I can't. He says, but if I start flying, if I start flying, I'll start losing my energy. And Goku's looking at him like, oh, don't worry, I got senzu beans. He's like, what senzu beans? He's like, if you lose your spiritual energy, my magical beans are just like regular, just like your. And yes, senzu beans are like magical thing. They can heal people. So it would, if it could do that, it could recharge Goku. It could do that to Kuwabara as well. So it's gonna happen. So Kuwabara doesn't need to worry about it. If he feels like he get exhausted and he needs a senzu bean, and he will a lot because he's not used to the chamber until so he trains a year, almost actually a year in a hyperbolic time chamber. He learns how to fly without using a little of his spiritual energy. He learns how to use his spiritual awareness, and he learns how to control his spiritual energy through his body. He actually learned a new technique that he created called spirit armor. Which is a aura of his spiritual energy wrapping around him. He hasn't mastered it yet, but it takes a lot of energy. It's like a case of emergency kind of power. And he hasn't mastered it, so it has to be like in a case of a near death situation. So after a while, he learns. His hand-to-hand combat increases, and his spiritual power and his getting healed. He gets a training boost and a hidden power boost because of the spiritual energy. Because the senzu beans did Zenkai boost, right? Yep, this is gonna be a hidden power boost. That's right. Those will do that too. So, god damn it, this is gonna work. Alright. A year goes on, and they get out of the chamber, and Kuwabara is, oh my god. Goku is very proud of himself. He had trained a great fighter to a length. He was so proud of Kuwabara. To look at him, he was so confident, and he was so patient and disciplined. A year in there really disciplined him. We helped him discipline him. It really helped him get him in shape ready for that fight. And he knows spirit shield. Like force field. A spirit force field oh yeah, and he knows the basics like spirit force field. He can make a force field out of his spiritual energy, just like Yusuke did with his. It was awesome, and he actually can use his shotgun, spirit sword shotgun, really well. And he mastered his spirit sword really well. And he created his own style, the Kazumi style sword techniques, called the Spirit Slash Wave, the Kazumi Double Slash, the the expanding slash whatever, like it's just amazing stuff that you can use. So yeah, he's getting really strong, and they take him back to his world. And after a while, he actually keeps on. He went and kept on training as well. He didn't stop. He did some sparring, little sparring, to make sure he's in good shape, instead, so he doesn't get rusty through the battle. Always keep his training up. So Kuwabara goes to get ready for the for the dark tournament. Yay! And the original timeline goes as planned, but the difference is Kuwabara is much stronger because he had a year in training in the hyperbolic time chamber in the Dragon Ball Z world by Whis, by the order of Whis. Because thanks to Master Roshi, because Master Roshi called Goku, and Goku got Whis, and Whis called Goku, and Goku called Master Roshi, called Whis, and then called then Master Roshi connected to Master Roshi. And Master Roshi talked to Goku, and then Whis and Goku and Master Roshi told them that they need to teleport him, yada yada yada. He had great connections. So, he had no excuses this time. Kuwabara actually can learn how to fly. So he flies home. He uses a little bit of his spirit energy to fly home. Fly home and get dressed. Take a shower. Well, he already took a shower because the hyperbolic time chamber probably had a shower. He had a bathtub anyway, so he got ready, got new clothes, and got in the shower. And then he went to the dark tournament.